Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today, I'm gonna do my mid-year top 10s. I'm gonna start running through all the divisions real quick, all the way from 122 all the way to heavyweight, and I'm gonna go in order like that to make it simpler on myself. Really want to pump these out. You know, June ended. That was half the year is over now, and now we can focus on the second half of the year and what's going on. So we had a lot of movement in the top 10. You know, a lot of things going on. You know, I'm not going to talk about the guys that dropped out until the end of the year when I do my end of year top 10s. But this is the 122-pound division. This is the super bantamweights. A lot of movement at 122. And like I said, real quick updates on these guys and the top 10. And then, you know, it's not going to take a long time like I normally do when I go all in depth. This is just a quick one. So I got a three-way tie for 10th now. The first of those is Ryosuke Iwasa, the former IBF champion. He dropped 6 spots from number 4. Iwasa took on Mirajan Akhmadaliev for the Unified World Championship in April. And he came up short. He got stopped in the 5th round, but in all fairness, it was a premature stoppage. Now, from what I saw in the highlights and what I read, is that Akhmadaliev was winning that fight, you know, but Iwasa was definitely in the fight. He was definitely landing shots and returning fire. And yes, he got caught a couple times, but it wasn't anything extreme to where, you know, most people feel he should have been, you know, the fight should have been stopped. So kind of, you know, sad that it was a little bit of a premature stoppage. I wish we would have seen a little more, but Iwasa does drop because of that, but I still want him to hang around in the top 10. Hopefully he bounces back and can try to get back into the mix before the end of the year. Now, also tied for 10th is former champion Angelo Leo. Now, Angelo Leo came in, he was ranked 10th, and he was a WBO champion. In January, though, he made a mandatory defense against Stephen Fulton Jr. and got completely outboxed and outworked in that fight. Now, he fought hard, but it wasn't really a close fight. You know, Fulton put it on him, really put his hands on him and took the WBO title from Leo. So, tough loss. But he bounced back in June. He took on Aaron Alameda, former world title challenger. He fought his ass off in that fight, and he walked away with a close split, 10-round split decision. So that kind of put him back into the top 10, or keeps him there, you know, at the midway point. So, you know, way to bounce back. Leo, he'll definitely continue to put himself back in the mix, hopefully, before the end of the year. Also tied for 10th is TJ Doheny. He drops 1 spot for number 9. He's a former IBF champ. Well, there was a time there that I was considering dropping him out of the top 10, but he's got one last hurrah coming on August 6th. He has a lockdown showdown with the undefeated Michael Conlan from Ireland. This is going to be a big Irish battle right here between these two. Doheny throws himself back in the mix with a win, and Conlan continues to move up the rankings you know, with a win. So it's going to be an interesting fight right here. Really looking forward to it. Early prediction, I'm going Michael Conlan, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Doheny won that fight. So we're going to see what happens. It really is make or break for Doheny. Another loss, he drops out of the top 10. A win, he stays solid in the top 10 and moves up a bit. So we'll see what happens. Number 9, dropping 1 spot for number 8 is contender Ionut Baluta. Now, Baluta is coming off the, you know, being the surprise kid in 2020 with wins over TJ Doheny and David Allen Joyce. And he decided to take on Michael Conlan, the undefeated rising star, and he gave Michael Conlan fits. That was a good, close battle between the two, and it really could have went either way. The judges came back with a majority decision, I believe, for Conlan, or a split decision. But Baluta really showed he belongs in the top 10, and that was a strong performance. Not sure how he's going to bounce back before the end of the year, but he proved that he belongs in the top 10. Now, number 8 is Michael Conlan, who previously was not ranked. Conlan really proved himself in the Ionut Baluta fight. Baluta proved last year that he's a legit contender, upsetting TJ Doheny, who was in the top 5 at the time, and then beating rising prospect David Allen Joyce. But Conlan hadn't really proved himself yet, and this was a WBO final eliminator. winner to become #1 contender for that title held by Stephen Fulton Jr. And Michael Conley went in there, worked hard, battled hard, and walked away with a tough 12-round majority decision and or split decision. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but he walked away with a win, biggest win of his career, and now he's trying to double up on that. Instead of waiting around and taking the easy road, taking tune-up bouts while he waits around for the winner of Stephen Fulton Jr. and Bantamweight Figueroa, he's going straight forward, and he's taking on TJ Doheny, the former IBF champion. This is not a cakewalk. August 6th, these two guys will get it on. Should be good. I'm picking Conlon to win, but it's going to be an interesting fight. Saturday, August 6th on, I don't know where it's going to be. I'm hoping it's on DAZN or ESPN+. Number 7, and remaining number 7, is former world title challenger and veteran Ronnie Rios. Ronnie Rios returned in February and took on Oscar Negret, a former, I think he's a former champ or former world title challenger at the other weights. I thought it was going to be more of a back and forth action fight, but man, Ronnie Rios looked really good in this fight, and he really put it on this guy and walked away with a clean one-sided decision. Then in April, the WBA ordered Ronnie Rios to challenge Murajan Akhmadaliev for the unified championship of the world right now. So, and Matchroom has won the purse bid for that. So this fight is being set up as we speak. Ronnie Rios will get his second crack at a world title against Murajan Akhmadaliev for the unified world title, and that's a big deal. I'm picking, if that fight happens, I'm going with Akhmadaliev to beat Ronnie Rios, but I would not be surprised if Ronnie Rios went in there and surprised everybody and walked away with that victory. Well, we'll see. Number 6 is Luis Neri. He drops 4 spots for number 2. He's a former 2-division champ now. He suffered the first loss of his career in May when he took on Brandon Figueroa in a unification bout. Figueroa was also undefeated. You know, Neri fought his ass off. He really was landing the more crisp shots, but he could not keep Figueroa off of him. Figueroa, the naturally bigger man, just kept throwing everywhere, hitting to the body, hitting to the head, and he just he hurt and beat up Luis Neri and hit him with a hard body shot in the 7th round that put Neri down and out. Tough loss for him. Neri, I don't know if he belongs at 126 or not, or if he should move back down. I mean 122, or if he should move back down to 118. But you know, he's definitely still a good fighter and belongs, but not sure when he's going to come back or if he's going to come back for the end of the year. I hope he does and shakes it off, but we'll see what happens. Number 5 is the undefeated WBO, newly crowned WBO champion, Stephen Fulton Jr., who was not ranked coming in, and he challenged for the WBO title against undefeated Angelo Leo, and he pretty much dominated Angelo Leo over the 12 rounds. Leo was in the fight, he was landing his shots, but Stephen Fulton just kept beating him up, never let Leo really take control. He was using his angles and really tagging Leo up the whole fight. It was a nice, very complete win as he becomes the world champion. And then it was announced that he would be in line for the winner of Figueroa and Neri, and now that fight looks good to go for Saturday, September 11th. They are scheduled to fight each other for the to unify belts, the WBA regular, WBC belts held by Brandon Figueroa, and the WBO belt held by Stephen Fulton Jr. will be on the line. So should be good. Looking forward to that Saturday, September 11th. And to tell you the truth, guys, as of right now, I'm picking Stephen Fulton Jr. to become the unified champion, and it could possibly get him up to number 1 in the division. So we'll see. But that fight really could decide number 1 or solidly locked in at number 2. And it will bring 2 of the 4 major world titles together, plus the secondary belt that Figueroa holds. Number 4, moving up 1 spot for number 5, is Azat Havanasian. He returned in February on a DAZN undercard, dominated some unknown opponent, got another knockout. Havanasian remains the guy that nobody wants to fight at 122. Not sure which direction he's going to go, if he's going to get some kind of an eliminator, but I hope he gets a solid opponent before the end of the year. Number 2, moving up 4 spots from, or no, number 3, still number 3, is the former unified champ Daniel Roman. Roman returned to action, took on some little-known guy, got a clean 10-round decision on a PBC undercard. Now they're talking about Roman taking on Ra'is Aleem for the interim WBA belt. Kind of surprised by that, even though they're both PBC guys, because Roman does not need to do that. He's number 1 in the WBC right now. He could stay busy and wait around, but I think the PBC's pushing it. I think Roman wants to fight good, solid fighters, and Ra'is Aleem, very talented fighter, undefeated. This could be his introduction, so we'll see. They're talking about that for the September 11th card, and to be honest, I think Aleem maybe beats Daniel Roman, but we'll see if that fight even gets made. Number 2 is the undefeated and now unified WBA regular and WBC champion, Brandon Figueroa. He came in the WBA champion. He moves up 4 spots from number 6. He took on Luis Neri in a unification bout, and he just kept coming at Neri. It was a good action-packed bout as we expected, but he kept coming forward, kept landing shots, body attack. He was getting hit with the cleaner shots for a while, but Neri just couldn't keep Figueroa off. He kept landing big shots, and he hurt Neri and knocked him out with a body shot. Biggest one of his career. Now he looks forward to Stephen Fulton Jr. on September 11th in another unification bout, an even bigger one. Going to be a good fight. I think it could go either way, but I think Stephen Fulton Jr. is going to beat Brandon Figueroa, but I really do think it could go either way. Going to be a good one Saturday, September 11th, unifying belts at 122. And then still number 1 is the undefeated unified champion, Murajan Akhmadaliev. He holds the WBA Super and the IBF titles. He came in the champion. In April, he finally made his mandatory defense against Ryosuke Iwasa, the former champ. And he was beating Iwasa convincingly. And then in the 5th round, the bout got stopped a little prematurely. He did kind of stagger Iwasa, but Iwasa did not seem hurt, and he kept throwing back. And it was surprising that the referee jumped in and stopped the fight. Premature, but nonetheless, Akhmadaliev was winning the fight, and it looked like he was going to, if everything kept going the way it was going, he was going to win the fight. We'll never know now, but he walks away with the win. It's a good name on his resume, and now he's lined up to fight veteran Ronnie Rios. That fight was ordered by the WBA. It was won by Matchroom in May or June, and now that fight is going to get made. And should happen here in the second half of the year. I got Akhmadaliev beating Ronnie Rios by a convincing decision, possibly stopping him late, and continuing to prove why he's at the top of the division right now, that the win over Daniel Roman was no fluke. But we'll see what happens. We'll see when that fight gets announced. Super Bantamweight of the year so far for me is Brandon Figueroa for his win over Luis Neri, and we'll just see how the year finishes up. But 122, a lot of turnaround, but some new faces, and it's a lot better division, in my opinion, than it was at the beginning of the year. And the best are talking about fighting the best and planning it. So things are looking up for 122. Really enjoying it so far. Hope you guys enjoyed this mid-year top 10. True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.